All rise. The Circuit Court of Dixon County is now in session. Honorable Judge David Wolf presiding. All ye having business with this court draw nigh, and you shall be heard. God bless the United States, this state, and this court. You may be seated.
All right, I've been advised that the parties have reached an agreement to resolve this case and other cases that are pending.
Your Honor, this case is going to be resolved today by Mr. Cathey is going to plead to count 3. That'll be a 100% charge on release eligibility, but he can get 15% reduction credits, and he'll be put on the secondary registry and community supervision for life. He can have no contact with Ms. Harris. It's 12 years to serve. Part of that deal is that he has other charges pending, and all of those are going to be nollied in settlement. And I believe I passed up paperwork that shows all of those, including his jail credits.
What I've been handed is the document indicating that in docket number 20 CR 181, he will be pleading guilty to count 3 and receive a sentence of 12 years to serve, a lifetime offender registry. Of course, that is a I believe is this 12 years to serve at 100%?
Yes, sir.
All right, 12 years to serve at 100%. He would then be on the lifetime offender registry, community supervision for life. He's to have no contact with the victim, Alexis Harrison. And then I'm advised that the victim has a victim impact statement she wishes to offer. Is that correct? All right. Now let's go ahead. Mr. Cathey, raise your right hand. Let's place you under oath.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. Move that microphone over. State your full name for the record, Mr. Cathey.
Rocky R. Lee Cathey.
Mr. Cathey, you're here today because you're charged in this indictment with 2 counts of child and then 1 count of rape. It's been indicated that you're going to enter a plea to the count 3 and that the other counts would be dismissed along with other indictments that you have in other cases. As a part of this agreement, do you understand what you're charged with? Of course, we are in the 2nd day of a trial. So have you been advised and been able to see what your charges are and talk that over with your lawyer's office, and you and Mr. Mitchell and his assistants discuss the range of punishment you're facing as well as possible defenses you might have to this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, it's indicated that you want to enter a plea of guilty. Do you understand you have the right to plead not guilty and continue on with this trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that if you plead not guilty, you would have the right to have a lawyer, to have one appointed for you, as I've done with the public defender?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that if you went to trial and continue on with this trial, you will be presumed to be innocent until such time, if ever, the state proves your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt to the satisfaction of all 12 jurors, and their verdict will have to be unanimous before you can be convicted of any crime.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that if you went to trial, if you continue on with this trial, your lawyers will continue to have the right to confront and cross-examine every witness the state calls, and you can bring in your own witnesses by the use of a subpoena.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you also understand that you are presumed to be innocent and you will not have to testify or prove anything at this trial, and there will be no inference of guilt that will arise, and the jury will be instructed not to infer anything from the fact that you do not testify?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that if we continue on with the trial and you are found guilty of anything, you would have the right to appeal the conviction and the sentence imposed to the Court of Criminal Appeals and have a lawyer appointed to help you with that appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you are waiving your right to a trial and to an appeal. All I'm going to do is to approve what your lawyer has worked out.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you understand this is being entered into with the consent of the victim in the case to resolve this matter once and for all.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand this is going to result in a conviction? That felony conviction will be on your record in the future to make more severe the punishment you'll receive if you are ever again convicted of a crime.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand everything that I've explained to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you wish to plead guilty to count 3 of the indictment and waive your right to a trial and to an appeal?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand if you plead guilty, the court of the state may ask you questions about this offense, and if you answer those questions under oath on the record and in the presence of your lawyer, your answers could later be used against you in a prosecution for perjury if it turns out you were lying under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is your decision to plead guilty today voluntary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anybody forcing you to do this?
No, Your Honor.
You understand I can't accept your plea unless I'm satisfied you are guilty and there are facts to support it.
Yes, Your Honor.
And are you in fact guilty of the charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you've heard the testimony of Ms. Alexis yesterday about that when she was 15, I think that was count 3, when she was 15 years old, that you were forced to correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that is true.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Are you satisfied with your attorney services?
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
feel like Mr. Mitchell has done a good job of representing you competently?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Mitchell, do you know of any reason you should not enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then at this point, we're going to, before I pronounce sentence, allow the victim to give her victim impact. So have Mr. Cathey take a seat at the table and bring her to the witness stand. Ms. Alexis, my understanding is that you would like to have this shown on camera, is that correct?
Yes.
All right, just have a seat in the witness stand. And I'll be glad to have you read your statement.
It all started so young, when I was supposed to be having fun, but my childhood wasn't fun. It was filled with you screaming at me while I beg you to let me sleep, beg you to let me stop, beg you to stop. I still feel your hands touching me everywhere. I still feel your hands covering my mouth as I try to scream. I wipe away the blood on my inner thighs as you tell me to stop crying, that you're the only one teaching me for my future husband. You were supposed to be my father, the one I'm supposed to trust, the one I'm supposed to go about my relationship support. But you made me hate myself more and more as I held the razor in my hand, begging myself to just do it. It would be quick. All your pain will go away. No one would care. That's what I thought when no one believed me or heard me. Here I am today, testifying as I have people who believe me. I still remember when you told me no one would believe me and that I would never escape. You sit here today looking at you, forgiving you, but not for you, for myself. Am I allowed to add more?
Yes.
I know that you're not the greatest person, but I wish you would just tell me that you did it. Because I'm looking at you today and you haven't said it. I know he can't. But I hope you know I live through this every single day. I have nightmares about this. I wake up screaming in my sleep. My husband has to hold me because of you. But I forgive you. Again, not for you, but for myself. I'm done, Judge.
Thank you, Alexis.
Thank you.
Alexis, I wanted you to know that this also was, that I asked him if it was true what you testified to, and he admitted it. So he has admitted it. You may not have heard that part. And it is of record, and it will be on video so that you will always have that as a record that you were right about what you said, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from the state?
No, Judge.
There are a few cases that bother this court more than children who have been abused, and especially in a case such as this. Alexis has shown incredible bravery and courage in coming forward and testifying yesterday about these events, especially when people who should have been her protectors and people who supported her the most didn't always believe what she had to say. But there are circumstances that arise sometimes that create that situation. In any event, she is a brave young woman to have come forward. There are a few things that are more despicable than someone who is in a position of authority and a position of trust, such as a step-parent, which is a difficult job, who betray that trust by committing unspeakable acts upon someone that's unable to protect themselves. I understand why this case is being settled, and I understand why both sides, I believe this is a fair settlement. It is a situation that allows Alexis to now get on with her life because there will be no appeal arising from this, and as a result of that, it terminates her, hopefully, her horror of having to deal with this situation. In any event, based upon Mr. Cathey's plea of guilty to count 3 of that indictment, counts 1 and 2 are dismissed. I find him guilty, order that he be sentenced to 12 years in Tennessee Department of Corrections to serve 100% of that time. He will get credit for time served as set forth on the document. He is to be on the lifetime offender registry, and he will have community supervision for life. He is to have no contact with the victim, Alexis Harrison. All the other cases and docket numbers are dismissed as a part of this agreement. That is the judgment of the court. Thank you. We need to bring the jury up from the jury room, please. We can tell them what's happened. Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, and have your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. Thank you for your patience, first and foremost. In any trial that we have, especially in a criminal trial where there are serious allegations, both sides have to weigh what they think that a jury will do. One of the things that we all know that practice law very often is that you can't really predict what a jury will do in a case with a lot of accuracy. As a result of that, both sides tend to sometimes consider where they are in the case and consider whether or not what they feel like the outcome might be. In this particular case, there were two very serious charges that were brought against the defendant, and if he were convicted, he would have a very serious sentence. And the other flip side of that is that if the jury was not convinced of the guilt of the defendants, then the state's position was that obviously it would be unfair to the victim in the case. You heard testimony yesterday from the victim, Alexis, who testified about what took place, and there were questions raised about that. Today, Mr. Cathey has pled guilty to a charge of rape and has been sentenced by me to serve a lengthy prison sentence and at 100% of his sentence to be served. He won't get early release or any such thing as that. He will be on the lifetime offender registry, and he will have to register forever and follow the community supervision for the rest of his life. It may seem like a small thing to have him plead to 1 out of the 3, but it also allows the victim, Alexis, to have him state in open court that he was guilty of what she said he did. And he affirmed that on the record. It is now a permanent record for her peace of mind to know that he has affirmed that she was telling the truth, even if at the beginning she wasn't believed. She also gave us a very powerful victim impact statement. I'm sorry that I could not allow you to hear that because of the simple fact that she, giving that, I had to preserve the possibility that the plea might fall through and we would continue on with the trial. That's the reason that you were not able to hear what she had to say. But all of this is now of record. It's on YouTube. If you're interested in going back and seeing what he had to say since you were involved in this trial, you can look at it anytime you want to, and you can see her victim impact statement. Alexis is here in the courtroom, and for the benefit of other children who might be in the same or similar situation, she asked that she be shown on camera reading her victim impact statement. It takes a lot of courage to do that. So I commend her for that and for the hopeful benefit that she's given to other people. It just wanted to let you know that if you were not here serving in your role, none of this would have been resolved. It would have just been continued on. She has finality. It was her agreement that allowed this case to be settled. The state would not have settled it otherwise, but it allows her to avoid an appeal and having this case continue on for years to come. So with that, I'm just simply advising you that your term as jurors here has been concluded as a result of this plea, and we will not be continuing on with any further of the trial. I thank you for your time, for the patience you've shown, and the many times I've had to ask you to step across the hallway, and for your patience in waiting in the mornings when we've had the things that we've had to get done. Are any of them going to have to come back for the next? Do we have anything else?
Now, we start with the new one in April.
This will conclude your jury service, and you are now exempt for 2 years, so you can go about your business. At least yesterday it was rainy and cold and damp. Today it's sunshine, so maybe that's a good omen for you. Anyway, you are discharged with my thanks, and if you would like to step across and collect any personal items you have, then you're free to go. Thank you.
Judge, if any of them have questions.
Yes, and if any of you would like to talk to the lawyers involved, they often like to talk to you to find out what your thinking was and helps them in their future trials, and they will have many, many future trials to go. So if you would like to talk with them, or if you're willing to let them talk with you, they may want to come speak with you about this case. So if you would just step across to the hallway and collect your things, and then we'll let them see if there's anybody who wants to talk to you. That will conclude this case.